It was so much fun, kind of proving everybody wrong and being like, okay, it's going to take me a little longer to get there. We started building in AI back when it was Transformer, and I thought it could do all of these things, but AI wasn't robust enough yet. It just took time to build out the platform. But yeah, we have a platform that can build a funnel. And gosh darn it, this girl in her. So if any of you think you're too old or you have no experience or you can't do it, every single one of us has that feeling, and you just have to like shut it down and keep going.
Welcome to Unreasonable Autonomy. My name is Sarah Grace. This is the podcast for entrepreneurs and innovators who refuse to settle. Here we dive deep into raw, real conversations with boundary pushers who have pursued seemingly impossible ideas and yet have achieved unreasonable results, whether that's in their faith, relationships, health, politics, yes, even business. All of those conversations are happening right here, right now. So let's buckle up, because this isn't about playing it safe. Unreasonable ideas, unstoppable results. Let's go. You guys, it is Sarah. Welcome back to the podcast. I am honored to have the Rachel Miller. Yes, the capital T-H-E. The Rachel Miller in the room, who is someone who I have admired from afar for years and years and years. And we'll get into that story at a much later time, probably. But I think something that you need to know about her is that she is not just a mom to six, but she is a proud mom.
I am.
Right?
Big accomplishment.
Never seen it in a bio. It's always like, I'm the mom to 4 kiddos, but like the proud mom, Rachel.
Yes. I know. It's the first thing I always say is that I'm a mom of 6. So when people ask me what I'm about, what I do, most people like they want to talk about business, but I'd rather talk about my kids all day.
Oh, we might get there. Can we just get there? We're just
for sure.
that. Okay, so to set the stage really of who Rachel is, she's a collector of businesses. I love how you say that. And she's a marketing strategist. And that has been really what has intrigued me to her life, is this beautiful life of 6 children and speaking from very impactful stages, and also such diversity in how you market and how you reach people. And I didn't prepare for this specific statement, but I just think how you do life is fun.
I do have fun in life. We're blessed. Part of the way it gets to be fun is that I got to decide what type of life I get to live. And I mean, all of your people get to decide the same thing, but I could be like in a school classroom teaching from 9 to 5 or whatever the time, 9 to whatever the time is that teachers teach. I could have chosen that path for myself, and your people are choosing their own path. I could have chosen to be like a business coach. I could have chosen to do loads of different things. And I landed on my lap was marketing strategist. And I've had a lot of fun helping people grow their audiences, for sure. But
like 27,000 students thus far.
Yeah, we've had 27,000 students. I actually have not counted in the last year, but we haven't really been promoting very much this last year. We might be closing in on 28,000, but I know for a fact it's 27. So.
Oh. Well, and let's add the word like fearless, in the sense that, I mean, here we are recording in 2024 and AI is taking the marketing world by storm. And you've also created the incredible Page Wheel, which I am a member of, right?
It's been fun. Like Page Wheel has been actually one of the most character building things ever. Okay, I'm a girl, right? I'm a 40-something, mid-40s girl, and I've never coded a thing in my dang life. And I decided I wanted to start a software company just because it sounded like a fun game. And that's where like you get to pick your game, right? And so I actually had, and he meant well. I had a marketing expert, a mentor, a guru, thought leader, whatever you want to call the people that you would recognize the name of this person. Tell me, why are you building a software company? You already are selling a marketing program. Why don't you just sell more of the marketing program? Why? But you've never built a software company. It's a different thing. Coding is different. Like you get to talk to people. Coders don't talk to people. They get in their little hovel and they.
Yes.
What in the world? Do you know anything about this? Like, and it was so much fun, kind of proving everybody wrong and being like, okay, it's going to take me a little longer to get there. As in, okay, we started building in AI back when it was Transformer, and I thought it could do all of these things, but AI wasn't like robust enough yet. And then we had to like, it just took time to build out the platform. But yeah, we have a platform that can build a funnel. And gosh darn it, this girl in her. So if any of you think you're too old or you have no experience or you can't do it, every single one of us has that feeling. And you just have to like shut it down and keep going.
And even with a trusted mentor.
Yeah, no. Somebody who loves me dearly told me like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So I want to dive with you into this because was this the 6-year-old Rachel? Was this the 8-year-old Rachel that you were just like, I get to pick my path. I get to have fun. So what if you tell me I can't play flag football? I'm going to do it. Like was this?
I don't know. I don't know when that started. I don't know. I don't think of myself as like daring or anything like that, but I love puzzles. I love puzzles. Like and I love like tinkering with UI and UX. So, and I love playing in algorithms. So in social media, I was able to build 4 million followers across platforms. I was able to reach content to go viral for myself because I figured out how the algorithm works, right? And then I help my clients go viral because I figured out how the algorithm works. I was tired of Facebook's algorithm. I was tired of Instagrams and all the other algorithms. I definitely wasn't going to learn TikToks because I was like, I've already done this. Like so many learn YouTubes and Pinterest and Amazons. I don't want to learn this algorithm too. And then it's a really simple algorithm. I ended up learning it too. But anyways, my point was I was tired of the social media algorithms and I wanted to build my own algorithm. And so I saw with Transformer the future of what was coming like 2 years ago, that this was before OpenAI was public.
Yeah.
And we were actually one of the first people, like we got early access. So we were able to see it before everybody heard of ChatGPT. But at that time, I saw what was going to be possible. And so we just started building it. We built it first for ourselves because, okay, back up. I told you guys how I grew an audience of like 4 million followers. And we were getting, at our high point, we were getting 10 million page views a month to our websites. So without ads. So we were getting insane traffic. Now we're getting, I don't know, a couple million, not in the 10 millions, right?
Yeah.
Not shabby, but not amazing. Okay. But anyways, the way the traffic works in the internet. But my point is now that traffic has gone down, we saw that we aren't making as much money because we're not bringing in tens of millions of people to our websites. So we're now bringing in millions. So now we have to be more strategic with revenue drivers on our websites. So now we make more per customer that comes to our websites. So I was like, great, I know how to do this. I've done this before, like stand back, hold my tea, like we'll get to this. But it meant that there was going to be 47 different products I'd have to build. So I was like, okay, I got this. I can do this, right? And I built templates and I made it faster. I made email templates and ad templates and social post templates. Then I put them all together. I was like, oh, wow, so that's about the time that I heard about Transformer. And I was like, wait a minute, I can take Transformer, put Transformer, an AI engine, which later on became OpenAI. It's one of the versions of that OpenAI was built off of. So I can take this early form of AI and I can have it help me with parts of this templates. I was able to get building a funnel from start to finish, from like, I'm going to build my ebook, my workbook, my video response. I'm going to build my sales page, my offer page, my delivery page, my email follow-up sequence. I'm going to build that all. And I got it down to 8 hours. And I still was like, this is pretty fast. Like, this is awesome. I did this in 6 to 8 hours. I could get a funnel down. Now, here's the thing though, the kicker. I had 47 different funnels to build in like so many days. And unfortunately, whenever I would try to hire a funnel designer, the amount of money they wanted to charge me was like, well, what I call is the Rachel Miller tax. Once people realize it's Rachel Miller, they charge like obscene prices sometimes because like, oh, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to pay you $5,000 for you to make this funnel for me. Like, no, I need 47 of them. No, we're not doing that. So what I did instead was I was like, I'm going to do it myself. So I found a way to do 8 hours and I was like with me and my like small team. But now I have 47 of them. That's a month and a half of work, guys. That's almost 2 full months because you take off Saturdays and Sundays. So like, I did not have the time I didn't want to wait 2 months for this. And so what I did instead was I built the software first for myself. So it was really janky and it built the products for me and it like spit them out, made the sales pages. But then I was like, wait a minute, we built it for ourselves. What if we made the UI, that's user interface, what if we made the UI something that other people could use? And now my algorithm that I made for me now serves the world. And I've been geeking out about it because I used to love geeking about Facebook algorithms and YouTube algorithms. And now I get to play with my own. So,
well, Rachel, I have 95 questions.
Okay. Sorry.
95 questions, which is so good. And I think one of the beautiful things is I have just started to see people catch the vision of what Paige Wheel is doing, what you've created, right? And it's almost like one of those scenarios in which I personally have had to fight against the notion like, this is too good to be true. And you've actually produced it. You know what I mean? Because people start saying a funnel in even 8 hours for someone who's not in it every day is kind of like, nah, I'm not sure. I believe there's skepticism. There's those kinds of things.
8 hours you could do yourself with templates. Like you don't actually need Page Wheel. You just need a templates where you copy the website from someone else. You change it. You upload your pictures. That means you have your pictures organized. That means you know the wording you're going to put in there. That means you have your product ready to upload. That means you connect your emails and all of that. You have your ads ready to run. If you're organized, you can do it in 8 hours without Page Wheel. You really can.
Sure.
It's just not pleasant. And with Page Wheel, our fastest person got it in 4 minutes. No edits. Yeah. But what it does was it'll build your word workbook. So I don't know if you've noticed this, Sarah, have you built a funnel before, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're building your workbook, you have to research what goes into your workbook.
Right.
Now, AI knows like 70% of what should be in your workbook. So it's going to write the workbook for you. It'll write a page for you. And then you're going to be like, well, that's not right here. AI is kind of blah, blah, blah here. This feels a little too ChatGPT-ish. But the amount of time it would have taken you to create the full page by yourself and research it before AI was a lot longer. Now AI will actually spit it out onto a pretty blue and orange or whatever your colors are page and make it all designed for you. And then you just have to edit a little bit. And then that's what I loved was that it took the thought of what should go into the content and then how the content should look. And then now that I have the content on a page, how can I that's a product, right? How can I put it onto a website and an offer page without having to thought? Now, you've already gave the page a title. You've already put copy into the page or checklist, bullet list. You've already said, this is what my product is. Well, AI can read that. AI smart. And it's like, okay, well, it said this is the headline. Great. We will help you with X. We will help you with Y. We will help you with Z. You don't have to tell the sales page that if you've given it the product. So that's where I was like, why don't we have smarter sales pages? And why are we having to like create a mock-up to put on the sales page? It should be able to create that by itself. So we just automated what a lot of things we used to have to like, okay, here's my workbook and I'm going to do a coaching webinar section of it. I'm going to need screenshots of the pages and I'm going to put them in a like designed layout. Well, AI can throw that together. So that's where for us, it just made it a lot faster.
And personally for you faster. And then it became, well, let's make it more user-friendly and let's, plug these holes. And I've watched the development. I was one of your founders or whatever, and watched the development of like, oh yeah, well, we're fixing this. And
we didn't even know you needed a back button. That tells you how little I know about software development. I just thought the back, when you hit back on the screen, like, the arrow that goes the other direction, I thought that you hit back and it just automatically goes to what you were at. No. Oh, no. That took 2 weeks to build because you hit back on ours. It shuts the whole thing down. You're done. It's like
let's just have like a moment of kumbaya gratitude for all the people that have created back arrow plan things, whatever.
No undo button. I just thought an undo button would be like, it just does that. No, oh no, that's another 2 weeks. So anyway, it was fun. But that's where I didn't know software. You can't give up. When you have a problem, I think that's the biggest thing is when you know there's a problem in the world and there's either a way to solve it or you could solve it. So I saw a way to solve sales pages and products that nobody else was doing. Everybody else you would have to program every single button. You'd have to hook all the tech up. And I hated the tech. And so I was like, this is a problem and it's big enough that we need a one-stop, like literally one button solution. So why are we doing this? So if the problem is that big to you and you see that problem in somebody else's life, how can you let them fester in it and not help them solve it? So like, I feel compelled that I have to see this through because I've seen so many people struggle and not get like results. They grew an audience and they can't sell to that audience, or they have a baby audience and they don't have any leads. And that's because they've never hooked up the sales funnel. Or bless their heart, there was this one beautiful soul and she had made 17 courses. She had an audience. She had 17 courses on Teachable or wherever it was. I don't think it was Teachable, somewhere else. I'm sorry, Teachable. I did not mean to say you. I love Teachable, but their name just came out. She had 17 courses she made somewhere, and she never hooked up a payment processor. So she never sold her product. She also had to set like emails so that they get an email receipt and like all of that part. Like she was like, well, I'm really good at making courses. I make a video lesson. I have a handout for the lesson, and that's where I stop.
Well, I think the most blunt answer to that is capacity. And especially as two women in business who feel that upward pull that like, I am a problem solver and come heck or high water, I'm going after it, right? Yes. On behalf of myself and others. Capacity is an issue in general for women. And as the proud mom to 6, I love how you got, to now where you're at with Page Wheel, but what component did your children play in your capacity to get there? People would assume you're at warp speed. True?
Well, I mean, you've got kids, right, Sarah? Like, I've got what? 4. Yeah. I think we are moms, especially moms of many, we learn how to multiply time and compress time like nobody's business. So like right now you're helping guys, those of you who aren't watching right now, like if you could see on the video, she's actually helping her child with homework while I'm on with her. Why? Because she's able to compress time. She's that badass of a mom. Sarah is amazing. She can compress time. She can do 2 things at once. I think moms of many, we've learned that we all have enough time and we all have enough ability to solve the problems that are put in front of us. We just have to like start moving towards them. So the dishes aren't going to wash themselves. The kids aren't going to do their homework. Well, sometimes they do their homework by themselves, but sometimes they could use some encouragement. But we can always like multiply things. So like for me, I would answer emails when I was sitting in the bus line to pick up my kids from school, or I had like 4 kids in orthodontics at one time. And while we did try to make appointments together, like it didn't always work because one needed a checkup every 2 weeks, one needed yada, yada, whatever. That meant I spent a lot of time at the orthodontist office. So I learned how to write ads in the orthodontist office. I learned how to check ad accounts while I'm in the orthodontist office. I answered coaching calls in the orthodontist like driveway area in my van, which is, oh, by the way, a 12-passenger. It's hideous. But anyways, I'm sitting in the orthodontist like thing. I remember the one actually, like I was on like a coaching call and the orthodontist was knocking on my window because I guess they needed to like get another treatment plan for me to sign off on. But anyways, my point is we learn to not take excuses and we learn to juggle it anyways. And we learn too that there's a faster way. So like if you're really busy and you have somewhere to go, we learn to pull out the paper plates. So you think ahead of time, I'm going to need this advance for this to happen, for this to happen. When you have a lot of kids, you start sequencing without even realizing that you're doing it. And when you can apply sequencing to getting dinner onto the table, when you've got 5 activities going on that night and who gets where and how we all get on time, if you can sequence that, oh girl, you can sequence something in your business. That's easy.
Well, let's get really transparent here for a minute, because I think that this bleeds in so intimately with how your businesses are run.
Yes.
Even when you filled out the onboarding form to come be on Dear Entrepreneur, like you have got one entire page with absolutely everything that you need. And so while it may take another guest 25 minutes or 15 minutes or something to be able to fill out just the form to be able to be on the podcast, yours is like literally the same copy and paste of the exact same link because everything is there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a really small example.
That's something I don't want to do work one time unless I have to, like, if there's any way I could do work once and not have to repeat it, I would be happier. So we want to do a podcast tour, which Sarah was gracious enough to host me, but we're doing a tour with, I think we're up to like 40 or 50 different places. And we're doing it for SEO because it's a new business. Like I said before, I have 27,000 students in one business, but this new business has no incoming links. Nobody knows it exists. Yeah. And so Rachel needs to, so we're getting incoming links for it, which podcast links are amazing. But when you're doing a tour after tour, I needed a way to communicate one time and compress time. So how did I do that? What are all the questions somebody needs in order? They need headshots, they need this, that. Okay, here's it all organized. Here's the 5 bios. Here's the this. Here's a list of questions. If you don't, we organize it so that way it's fast for you, but it's more importantly fast for me. And I only had to do the work once and compress time. But that's something every single mom does every single day, right? When you're getting 5 kids out or 3 kids out the door, and you're also trying to navigate something that you're going to have to, an obligation whenever you leave. So like, let's say you're leaving the house and you have to deliver cupcakes to something. Well, you're having to navigate getting the cupcakes out the door and your children. That's something every mom has. And if we're working moms, we're even better equipped for that.
So you would view it as you are doing it anyway. So why are you allowing that to stop you?
Yes. Well, you're doing it anyways, and you're probably just making it inefficient for yourself. So think, how can I make this where I do the work once? And that's actually why we built Page Wheel, was because why am I writing a sales page again and again and again? I should only just write it once. Why am I creating the layout of a workbook? I should only do this once. I should only make social media posts once. We created our social media system where you make the post one time and you reuse them for years and years. Like literally posts I wrote in 2015 are still being published today. Like they're literally going viral today. And it's like 8 years later. So work you do once works again and again and again. And that's something that we've done in our lives. But when we apply it from our homes into our business, we get to see a lot of growth.
So you don't view it as these like 2 very separate worlds of like, oh, this is who I am when I'm running a family. And this is what you can expect from me when I've got these wonderful 6 kids and I'm doing all the things. And then this is my entrepreneur side. It's like, no, like this is how I operate.
This is how I operate. Yeah. And actually, this is actually my office. And right before I got on, I moved, we had like these little chairs that were here and I moved them out of the viewpoint. But yeah, this is where my kids come in after school and sit and chit chat. And actually one of my kids they were having standardized testing. And for some reason she doesn't have to go to school today because she's not part of the testing group. So she's here just hanging out. Like that's what I love about my life, is that my kids are in and out of my life all the time. And so I have my desk right where I can see the house, new kids coming in, and I've made my life where I'm focusing first on them. I think they're more important than my business, but my business gets to support our family.
Incredible. And something that you brought up when you were learning about the back button, figuring out the back button, right?
You have to actually code that. Yeah.
I'm like, there's probably like a really sexy term for it. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, me neither. Okay. Other than the fact, when we made it, the original one went white. Like it shut the whole site down. Like you had to like reopen it and everything. There was nothing. Yeah, it was bad.
Back. Well, I think back to that reference, and I think back where you said, I didn't want to wait 2 months to get this resolved. Like I didn't want to. No. I didn't want to wait. And so specifically because you are talking with entrepreneurs who are bridging that gap in between, I've established something real. This is not a hobby. I have proven offers. I've made an impact on the world. I've seen money hit my bank account. I have got a tax bill I'm not proud of. Like they're at that stage of the game. They're at that stage of the business. And what they're looking at moving forward is scalability and increasing impact and continually that upward pull to impact. And don't you think that there comes this moment in which, well, just good things take time, right? And maybe this isn't your season. And like, I'm thinking of these phrases that come up of like, yeah, and I'm not being very eloquent about this, but
well, I feel like those are also just like half-assed like excuses.
Tell me,
people like they're just. I feel like we all have a season. Like, okay, no, going back, no, there are like, okay, I have had a season where, okay, I'm going to hustle on the software. And at the same time, my son was diagnosed with epilepsy. And like, it took us like 6 months to get the diagnosis. And so during that time, I was like, okay, business, at least my face fronting business is going to have to take a back seat. But it's not like a season of, I'm not going to hustle right now because this isn't the season for it, or I need to, it's more like, I know my business plan that I'm working on is worth waiting for. Sorry, the dog child just came home. I know this business season that I'm working for is worth it. And I'm going to invest in that right now, but I don't have extra bandwidth to invest in additional, like I didn't take on extra clients at that time. I just focused on my kid and the software company.
So you've never faced the, I got to shut it all down.
Well, I have had times when I've had a calling, like I didn't feel as good about my training program. Actually, no, this is exactly why. I didn't feel as good about my training program. Moolah, we taught people like for $1,000 to $2,000. I would teach people how to grow a viral Facebook audience. And in my heart, I started to feel like I wasn't really serving people. And it's not that I wasn't serving people and getting them results. I was getting them results and helping them grow their audiences. But in my heart, I felt like one, I was having to show up constantly. And two, there's so many other things that they needed. So just because they had social media posts, like one girl, Stephanie, she's beautiful. I love her big, big heart. She grew her audience to 1.4 million and could not make bills because she never had a product to sell because she couldn't think of what to sell them. Her audience she'd ask them, what do you want for me to sell to you? And they'd give her a list of like 75 different things. And she didn't know how to set up the fulfillment system. So she grew so fast, she was overwhelmed, and then she just stopped. And so like for me, I felt like I was growing or collecting a lot of Stephanies in my life and helping them grow an audience, but for what? Because they had everything else missing and they didn't have like the foundation of how to love and serve and sell so that they could actually make an income as well as an impact from the audience that they built. And so I was feeling that. And then at the same time, my son got sick. So I was like, you know what? I don't feel right selling this as much anymore. So we're going to move that into a monthly membership where now we can provide support, but it's for a lower ticket price and they can still have access to content. But that way I can let that thing go that's making me feel a little uneasy until I figure out how I'm going to make an impact and focus on my kids. So between both of those, I kind of didn't shut down, but I kind of like let a business, you know how like in every 7 years in the Bible, they say every 7 years you let the field lay. I feel like I had the year, it was actually 7 years in where I'm going to let that business just kind of lay for a little bit. So
and let's bring in one of the blunt elements of, you know, that year of letting the field lay is cash flow.
Ooh.
Right?
Yes.
You are supporting a family. You have got dependents. You have
we have a very expensive hobby called a software company.
Oh, yes. Let's also add in that. The very expensive hobby.
Sorry.
And a son who medically has needs that most likely are not fully being met by insurance unless yours are off.
Well, actually, the insurance, once we figured out what it was, insurance, it's actually one of really cheap drugs. So he's fine. Like financially, we're not struggling with him. Although we did have a couple of hospital stays. Those were expensive. Those were very
just that kind of, and I guess what I'm trying to get at the core at here is you are high energy. You are an optimist. You are integrity driven. I mean, that's literally why you're here, right?
Yeah.
That's why I want to have you here in the room. And there are some very big realities to business like cash flow, right? And when you decide to step back, or I'm going to pull my face away from it, or I'm going to reorganize, what was that experience like in being decisive so that the cash flow didn't become a problem?
Well, part of it is I think that I was prepared. I knew that I was going to be building something big next. And so I had pulled aside a fat egg to invest in the next thing that would come up for me. So we had that pulled off. And then I had my media company had income coming in every single month. And then that money was going to go into development. So between my cash egg of my savings and then the media company, that paid for the majority of my software build, which software is super expensive to build. That paid for that. And then myself and my team, we had a membership. So now I had recurring income coming in from my membership that kind of took on, like, weathered the storms. And then we could still take on clients. So we'll create social media content packs at $5,000 a pop for people who want roughly 2 months, 60 days of content. But most people can use it for if you're a heavy poster, it's 60 days. If you're not a heavy poster, we have people using it for 6 months. So my point is we were able to then be like, okay, and anytime I go to my email list and say, we have an opening for 2 more people to take client packs, they're taken within hours. So like I'm in an unusual spot in the sense, if I want money, I can easily just email my list and say, hey, I need a content pack. And they're like right there.
Right.
That said, I don't like doing those. That's trading time for hours. So that's not like a sustainable business model, but that is a way that whenever we looked at cash flow, if I get a braces bill or a hospital bill and the ends aren't lining up, we'll open up a content pack.
Okay. So I have 2 takeaways. So
Okay.
Okay. I have really, really powerful questions that you can ask yourself when you are looking to face this new journey of business. One of them you just mentioned was basically, what do I have access to sustain?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What is my list? What is my pack? What is my whatever? Like, what do I have access to instead of, how is this going to survive? This kind of panic mode or frantic mode. What do I have access to? I think we do that in mothering all the time.
Yes.
Right? I have access to paper plates. I love how you said that. Okay. So what do I have access to? And then earlier on, when you were talking about really, really, really finding that there was a problem in being able to connect the dots for people and saying, I'm not going to wait 2 months.
No, I'm not going to
So
wait.
what am I going to do? Right?
Oh.
If I am unwilling to do this, then I have to be willing to do this. And I think that exposes that there is a price to be paid.
There's a price for sure.
There's a price to be paid. And I cannot express like the gut feeling. I can't remember a ton of what you taught at Funnel Hacking Live when I first met you live.
Yeah.
And you taught us social media. I'm sure it was awesome and it's changed my life dramatically. Right. But I cannot forget the feeling in the room that I had, knowing that you had literally just pulled into the airport and had barely made it. Right. And this was years ago. You had barely made it.
This is now I know. So like I was telling her that whenever I go to an event, I met one of those economy flyers guys. I know I have enough money. Like I just don't, I'm a 5 foot like little person. So like I'm happy in any size. I don't want the junk airplane food. I'll bring my own salad. Thank you. And I love babies. So if I get to sit in the back with a baby, I'm happy as a clam. That's my score. I landed the great seat. I don't see the thrill of first class at all, and definitely not enough to want it. So anyways, but I used to fly like the cheapo economy. And now I learned that they might bump you if their flight's full. So now whenever I fly for a very important one, if my timing is tight, I like pick some type of upgrade, but not because I want the upgrade. I really don't. I want to make sure I'm on that flight.
Yes, I'm dying because I'm 5'1", and I'm
you're too.
Why does anybody need Comfort Plus?
I'm sure some people do, but for me, I'm very happy where I am. So, but yeah, no, I did not that was earlier in my journey, and I had not learned about the whole bumping flights bit. So I learned that lesson.
That's the third lesson, fly business, right?
That was an important lesson to learn because it's not worth the stress. But like you felt that there wasn't stress when I got there. And that's one of the things too, that as a mom, you learn is to let go of your stress, because you might be fighting with one teenager who's got XYZ intentions and they're rolling their eyes, but the next kid wants to like talk about their hearts or like get all excited about something or tell jokes all day. So you have to like compartmentalize, like this is 15-year-old in 2 years. This will not be this child. I will have a different child in 2 years. Like you have to compartmentalize when you're dealing with your children and you're dealing with business, but also you have to compartmentalize. Okay, I barely made my flight and now here I am. And I get these beautiful, wonderful people like Sarah to love on.
It was impressive and it was tangible. It was tangible in the sense that was literally your introduction when they introduced you, is that you almost didn't make it, right? And I thought it was such a funny introduction. I was like, but no, I want to know like why I should listen to her and like what she's done and like all this stuff. And it was basically like, she just got here, let's go. And there was just this almost command of the room, right? This command of the room, but optimism. Just, can I just show you how fun this is? And can I just show you how you can do this? And can I just give you everything that I can? And I kept thinking, wow, I actually grew up with a mom like that.
Oh, right? Did you?
Right. And I'm actually now just piecing that maybe that's what was so centering about just your energy on stage of this is fun. Like, let's go. This is visionary. This is all these things. So I want to know if you feel like you were born with that. Like, are you just this way? Because I don't know how common that is to be born an optimist or to be born like visionary, like you are the female Steve Jobs in so many ways of just, it's all possible. Let's just think differently. Let's just ask better questions. Let's just go. But don't you experience a lot of entrepreneurs that are just stuck?
Well, I mean, everyone can get stuck. I get stuck too. I think entrepreneurs, there's a difference between like an actual entrepreneur and somebody who wants to build a business for themselves.
Ooh, talk to me.
Okay. So I was at this like entrepreneur business breakfast that they have in my local area. And it's almost all men in suits. So I'm definitely the oddball in the room. So I walk into the room and they're all talking about like KPIs, key performance indicators. I had to ask and figure out what that was a couple of years ago. They're talking about like what their processes are. We do have processes in my company, but like I definitely don't necessarily know what they are. I did make them, but that doesn't mean I remember what they are. So anyways, so it's like I realized in that room that they might call themselves entrepreneurs. And a lot of people call themselves entrepreneurs because they want independence and they think being an entrepreneur means independence. I think there's a difference between an entrepreneur and somebody who makes a job for themselves. Somebody who makes a job for themselves creates a business for themselves so that they can have work, so that they can be employed, so they can have a legacy that passed down to their children, yada, yada. An entrepreneur is like fixing things. Like it's a compulsion. It's okay. There's this one kid that comes over to my house. My son has like 5 friends. I can tell one of them instantly is an entrepreneur. They're all planning this like after school when they graduate trip they're going to go on. And everyone else is like, we're going to have to this, we're going to, and they're planning it. And they're going, how are we going to do beds? We all need planners in our lives. And the other kid, Bryce, is like, you just throw your clothes into the car, the van, and we start driving. That's how this works. So like, let's just go already. He's like, we'll figure it out as we go. Everybody have a couple $100. Let's just go. Like, come on. Like, that's the entrepreneur. We're gonna figure it out as we go. We know we don't have it together. We're gonna find those problems. And then when we find the actual problem, we'll fix the problem. But we're not gonna plan for problems we don't know are gonna happen. We're not going to like assume that all of this bad stuff is gonna happen. We're not going to like have everything prepared with this process. Cause I know if we all prepare a meal, one, we're gonna spend more time fighting about it and we'll all end up going out to eat for fast food anyways. So instead, why don't we just put a couple pairs of underwear and get in the car? Like put a couple pairs of underwear in a bag, grab your toothbrush and let's just go. Like I'm Bryce. So like there's multiple people in the world. We need the people who plan, but there's also the people who plan as they're doing. And I think an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, finds a problem. They can't help themselves. They have to solve it. And they solve it while they're taking action. But this is what's horrible, though. An entrepreneur, when the business gets too big, can destroy the business because they're looking for the problem when the business doesn't have any problems.
Right.
And then they're putting like a jackhammer into it to fix it because they're moving forward as fast as they can. So there's a true entrepreneur starts businesses. The business owners get to keep the business alive. And you need to have business owners. You need to have people creating businesses too. You need to have people who work in businesses. But a true entrepreneur, we're rare and we're destructive.
That's why you are a collection of businesses, is because you know when to get out.
I don't know when to get out, but I surround myself with people who kick me out.
Brilliant.
So like, I actually have a business partner who will take away my passwords.
No.
I know. Oh yeah. No, she will.
I'm like, I need to
no, it's also, and this has happened to me in multiple businesses where I've had people say, you've done this job enough. It's great. You just hurt so-and-so's feelings when you came on and you tried to mess with their job and you broke their whole system. So don't touch it anymore. And we're going to change the passwords because you broke it. And that way, the person that you trained to do this job feels empowered to do it because you're not going to come in behind them and undo all their work, which is very demoralizing. And you don't want to do that because you love so-and-so who works for you. So why are you doing the work and undoing her work for her? She's doing a great job. You can see by the KPIs, she's doing a great job.
Incredible. What did you do when you didn't have the team yet? When you
Oh,
didn't,
that's when you hustle. Like it's when you have the team that the entrepreneur hustles and makes it happen. It's a compulsion. You have to hustle and make it happen. But
yeah.
once it's working and you have somebody behind you, then you have to actually step back. And that's actually pretty painful. And I would suggest you actually getting kicked out. For me, it's better to be kicked out than it is for me to leave because I don't leave very well. It's better for me to have them initiate me leaving.
I love this. And you're not the first person on this podcast that has really found being kicked out as a victory.
Oh, it's a huge victory. It's huge. It's awesome.
And I just hope I do it again. Right. I just hope
continually. I've been kicked out like 2 or 3 times now. And it's been amazing each time.
Incredible. So blunt question. Can the first business owner succeed? Made a job for myself.
Oh yeah. If you're not a super entrepreneurial and you're like on the entrepreneur spectrum, maybe like here instead of like way out there. If you're on the entrepreneur spectrum, but not all, like not 100% quick start, not 100% visionary, you can totally create a business and totally be successful. And you might actually be more successful in the long run. It might take you longer to get there because you're thinking of systems and you're pairing the right foundation. You're probably evaluating different tools. Whereas I'm like, well, which is the first one that popped up? Okay, I don't even need to see the sales page. I'll look at 3 headlines and we're good. So I bought a lot of crap I didn't need or it wasn't useful. Like you're going to be more methodical and you'll probably get there and your product will probably be more stable than mine was because I'm all like, whoop, made it, whoop. So I always like to have somebody behind me who is that person who loves building businesses, loves working for themselves, wants the freedom, the independence, but maybe isn't quite as visionary as myself.
So do you feel that the real message is do what you are? If you are the entrepreneur, get in there and hustle and do it fast and make mistakes and go. And you've got to own that that's who you are versus the business owner, slow, steady, systematized, legacy driven. Just do you. I mean, that's such the trending.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Cause the systemized person can't move quickly and I can build a system, but I can't maintain it. So you do need to kind of mix the two together for a best company.
I do love it. I do love it so much. Kate, one of the last questions that I want to dive into here is I was so intrigued by your conversation early on about how I got tired of algorithms. I learned the algorithms. I learned how to conquer the algorithms. And then I got really tired of them, right? Yeah. Really tired of them. And I would imagine that's because you're a true entrepreneur based upon what you said. And then you said, I decided to build my own algorithm. Right. And now I'm able to share that algorithm and impact people. So I do think that there is a mentality of always trying to get in on the ground floor of an idea, right? The ground floor of Instagram or the ground floor of Clubhouse, right? Or the ground floor of whatever. Right? We all laugh about it.
Yeah. Sorry. I just remember I grew like Instagram, or Clubhouse by like 18,000, like in like a weekend. And then I was like, this is just such a huge waste of time. And then I left.
I'm going to take myself out of this. Thank you.
I should probably open that up and see if it still exists. Yeah, no, actually, I used to I was playing it while I was in the shower once. My husband was like, this is like weird. It's like you've taken it to another level, babe. Like, is there nowhere social media won't go? And I was like, you're right. This is weird. And then that was it. We were done.
I just popped into a room and like a really old ex-boyfriend was one of the guests in the room and I could not get out of there fast enough. I was like, oh my gosh, get me out. I can't do this. Bad juju right from the beginning, right?
My word, yes. Yeah, so or you get stuck in a conversation. And I remember one conversation where the guy was just going on. He was like, it was stuff that I didn't ethically agree with. But I didn't know how to get out of. It's like, so now you're awkward dinner parties that you don't know how to get along with. And there might be like kind of on the skimmy side. And I'm like, this is definitely not an FTC compliant conversation. And I definitely don't want to be part of this one. And then now you're stuck on it. And oh, you're a speaker in it. And you didn't even ask to be a speaker in it. And how did you know? Anyways, it was just, yeah, that was a bad.
Oh my gosh.
It was
It's
fun. It was a learning experience. I met some great people and I forgot about it since then. But it's funny that you said algorithms come and go. So like Facebook algorithms come and go, Instagram algorithms come and go, Clubhouse algorithms come and go. But creating a business, that's something that lasts for forever. And the lessons you learn on how to make content go out to the world, that works everywhere. So just like I like nailed the algorithm of Facebook, well, then I wanted to nail it on my own algorithm. And it took us 2 years, but we did it.
It's phenomenal. I mean, it really is amazing because you just can't argue the proof of what you've built across multiple platforms that you don't have control over, quote unquote,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so my question is that mindset of like, I'm constantly looking for the ground floor? Like AI a couple years ago was ground floor. Like,
Yeah.
are you going to integrate this? Are you going to figure this out? And you dove in. I mean, you saw the writing on the wall.
We were on it before there was Jasper and before there was OpenAI ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So like if someone, I know it's like really unsexy to like use nevers or black and white language, but the reality is, does ground floor matter? Like if people do not bring AI into their businesses now, will they be left behind?
I believe people will be left behind if they don't bring AI into their business. That said, I think the hustle matters more than the tool that you're using. So if your problem is big enough and you're going to work to solve that problem for other people and you love people enough to deliver the problem to them, that's timeless and that's something that's going to be around for forever. Will people who use AI get there faster? Yes. Will people that are willing to get on video camera and build trust and communicate directly with our people, will they get there faster? Yes. Will people that have an audience get there faster? Yes. But you, the listener, you have everything you need too. And if you're willing to grow an audience and you're willing to collect people to love and serve, if you're willing to create a product to solve a problem, then you could do that too. And you can do that now with AI, or you could wait in 6 months and do it with AI. I don't think it's going to be something that's you're going to be behind the game ball on. I think it's just the new normal.
And I want to pull in something you said at the very beginning, how you mentioned you're like a mid 40s, you mentioned your age, right? And Rachel, today is my birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And I am early 40s now. I am now early 40s. But I was thinking about that I think one of your most profound things that you said is like, you are not too old. Like it is not too late.
No.
And that's what I really, really want to hand to the listeners as they've really watched your story and watched your vision here is, age is not stopping you. 6 kids who you love, adore, health troubles, teenagers, emotions, all those things has also not like you haven't missed the window.
No, I haven't missed the window. The window's still there. And I have more windows just waiting for me to crack them open. I haven't even found them yet.
And that's the message, right? Yeah. Like that really is the message of, gosh, dear entrepreneur, right? As you learn from Rachel Miller, like you have not missed the ground floor of anything.
No, the ground floor is still there. Now, will AI be part of that ground floor? Yes. Will social media be part of that ground floor? Yes. And is it better to start now than to wait? Always. But the tree that you plant today is better than the tree you've never planted. So
I love it. I love it. And a tree that you plant that you may never sit under also has its own value in some really beautiful ways. Right?
Ooh. Oh, wow. The tree that you planted that you've never sat under still has value. Oh, my word. Because all those projects that I've started and that may not have been successful, that no one's maybe found out about, or the ones y'all have seen fail flop on their face, each of them had a role for sure. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just think the world of you and of your life and of your drive and of your optimism, it has been inspiring as someone who has sat in the very back of the room. It has been inspiring as someone who's been able to share a Zoom room with you. And I just believe there is such an optimistic, fire-filled, you are not too late, right? There are a billion problems to solve. Which one are you called to solve that we have learned today? So thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. And thank you for making this space for other entrepreneurs to be encouraged and know that they're not alone and they've got a calling and they better get to it.
They better get to it. Quote of the day. Incredible. Incredible. Well, if I were to push everybody in really any direction, I am so grateful that I can personally attest to the genius of what Rachel has created, for sure online, but also just watching her energy and sharing that energy in an actual room. But if you guys would like to start to experience some of what she's generated with AI, we've got packs.pagewheel.com. I will put everything together there in the show notes so you guys can access it. We'll put it in the emails, all those kinds of things. But most importantly, soak her in. Soak in her energy, and that she has done what many would say is impossible, right? And that maybe we're just too old for this game anymore. No, we're doing games till we're 100 together. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Incredible. Thank you again, Rachel Miller, for being here, and so grateful for your message to our audience today. Thanks so much.
Sarah, thank you so much. You're amazing. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Unreasonable Autonomy podcast. If you loved this episode, my guests and I would love to hear about it. Go to the show notes to reach out and let me know what resonated with you or what topics or guests you want to hear in the future. I am here to create for you. Look, I deeply admire your commitment to pushing boundaries and going after an unreasonable life. Keep dreaming big, taking bold steps, and expecting the unreasonable. For more, go to the show notes to dive deeper into the conversations that will keep you going. Thanks for being here.